So where do I check on it?
Studio. Content.
Live, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's live.
So I start.
You can start. Let me check. You're good.
Okay, you tell me.
You can start.
Have you ever felt like your brain is in a fog, forgetting names, losing focus, and even struggling to stay sharp? What if I told you that two overlooked nutrients, choline and iodine, could hold the keys to unlocking your memory, your mood, and even your child's future intelligence? In this live presentation, we are going to dive into the science of brain boosting nutrients that most people are ignoring. Welcome to Wellness Health Services Health Talks. I'm Dr. Joshua Dirito, family physician. I have interest in public health and cancer prevention and treatment. Welcome to this live presentations. We are going to be talking about two often overlooked nutrients or micronutrients, but they have a very significant impact on our lives and even the lives of our children. These are choline and iodine. Why are these micronutrients important to us? I request you that you stay with me to the end of this live presentation so that you learn practical sources of these hormones, these nutrients, and also learn about new supplements that can help transform your brain health. And I'll also take your question on this live presentation at the end of this presentation. Why do these two nutrients matter, choline and iodine? We will start with choline. Choline is one of the building blocks for acetylcholine. This is a hormone that is commonly a neurotransmitter in the brain, which is very important in learning and memory. When you're talking about a neurotransmitter, nerves communicate to each other through what we call neurotransmitter. They secrete some chemical substances that help nerves to talk to each other. And so choline is a part of the component that forms this neurotransmitter called acetylcholine that helps nerves talk to each other. And it is usually important for cell membrane of nerves and also methylation of nerves. This is in the functioning and transmission of information across the nerves. And it is actually helps nerves to talk to each other and also helps in the gene communications in the genes that manufacture this acetylcholine. And studies have shown that mothers who have higher sources of choline intake during their pregnancy, they have children with better memory and also attention. This is very significant about the memory and learning of our children. We want to give our children the best that they can. And so we want to have our expectant mothers optimize on their intake of choline. So I know that you'd be, if you're in this life, you'd be one of the persons who would be wanting to give the best to your child and increase their memory and also increase their learning capacity. So let's stay on. Then we look at iodine. What is the role of iodine in our bodies? This is the mineral behind the formation of thyroid hormones, what we call T3 and T4, thyroxine and triiodothyronine. These are hormones that literally control brain development in human beings and also help in the energy metabolism of our bodies. Actually, the thyroid hormone. This is a small butterfly shaped gland that is on the anterior part of the neck, and it is actually like the powerhouse of our body's metabolism. In the early stages of development, the hormones T3, T4 are very crucial and significant in the formation of the brains of children. And if there is deficiency of these two hormones, then this leads to a condition that we call crantism, where there is profound developmental delays in the children. So even mild deficiencies of iodine in our children leads to significant maldevelopment, leading to low IQs by almost 10 to 15 units of what would be the normal capacity of a child. So this is a very important micronutrients that the body needs, and so our children will need it to develop appropriately and develop their brain capacity to their best levels. So you can imagine your child potential being permanently stunted, not just because of lack of talent, but because he missed out on these invisible nutrients. This would be a catastrophe. And so we need to have our mothers have adequate intake of these hormones so that we can assure our future generation of their best performance in their academic prowess and also their brain performance. So what does science show about deficiency of choline and what are its implications of deficiency? A study done by Derbyshire University in 2020 showed that choline supports neurological development and cognitive resilience. As I said, it helps the formation of the hormone, the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which helps in the communication of nerves, and so it supports the neurological development of individuals and also helps in the cognitive resilience of individuals. Then there was another study done in 2023 by ASUs, which showed that choline deficiency was associated with the accumulation of amyloid plaques and the tau tangles, which were early markers of Alzheimer's disease. What we are saying is, if you are deficient in choline, then you are at higher risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. And actually, you see that in some of the supplements that people use these days, choline is one of the components that help patients with dementia, patients who have sustained a stroke, to improve their brain functions, and it is given as a supplement. So it is important that we have adequate supply of these hormone, of these nutrients. Then the Washington Post in 2025 published an observational study that indicated that moderate intake of choline was associated with the better memory, especially in older adults. So if you are getting beyond the age of 65, you still want to maintain your mental resilience, you need to still maintain your intelligence and also your memory, then choline is your hormone to go to. So as we go on, you will see what are the common sources of these important micronutrients that is so important to our brain. So then we have iodine. Iodine, the common source is the table salt, which is by WHO standards should be iodized. And WHO data shows that nearly 2 billion people worldwide are at risk of getting iodine deficiency. And of course, when they have iodine deficiency, then there is malfunction of the thyroid hormones, and this leads to various metabolic issues. Okay.
We can start from sources of resources.
Okay. As I've said, some studies done by what does science say about choline? Review by Damshare in 2020 showed that choline supports neurological development and cognitive resilience. And then there was another study that was done by ASU and in 2023, and it showed that choline deficiency was linked to accumulation of amyloid plaques and tau tangles, which are early markers of Alzheimer's disease. What we are saying is, as deficiency of this important micronutrient choline is a risk factor for getting Alzheimer's disease and also getting dementia. So for the elderly, then we need to make sure that they get adequate supply of choline. Observation study, and it is linked moderate choline intake with better memory in older adults. So those who had a moderate intake of choline, they had better memory, and they could be able to retain their mental resilience to a better degree. So let's look at what is the evidence of is available on the importance of iodine. The common source of iodine, according to WHO standards, is the iodization of the common table salt that we are commonly used to. And the WHO data shows that nearly 2 billion people worldwide are at risk of getting iodine deficiency. And of course, with the iodine deficiency comes with the thyroid malfunctioning. And as I've said, thyroid is one of the powerhouses that controls the body's metabolism. Thyroid functions are very critical in the development and growth of children, and the deficiency of the child. In one of my blog presentations, I've talked about one of my patients who presented at 6-year-old but could not be able to walk because of thyroid hormones deficiencies. And when we started supplementing the thyroid hormones, then the child picked up. At the time the child was presenting, she was able to join up and join her colleagues in school. So you can check the blog. It is in the Wellness Health Services blog article. So the thyroid brain connection shows that iodine, thyroid hormones drop, and this slows mental processing, focus, and also energy. Even in adults, deficiency of iodine leads to poor thyroid performance. This leads to slowing of activity and even poor concentration and poor mental development. So let's come to what I'm sure many of the people are waiting to hear about. Where do we get these micronutrients from? And I'm sure that many of you are looking forward to hear to hear what are the common sources of these micronutrients. If you are with me up to this, I would also want you to lessen your mind a bit and just put it in the chat. What do you think are the common sources of these hormones, the choline and the iodine? Just put it in the chat and then we can discuss together. So without further ado, I'll look at where do we get these micronutrients, and we'll start with choline. Some of the foods that are good sources of choline include eggs, especially the yolk. We have liver, we have fish, we have chicken, we have beef, we have soybeans, we have calciflowers, vegetables, and 90% of the people in the society do not meet their dietary choline needs for their brain development. 90%, so almost like 100% of us, we are not meeting our daily requirements of choline. And so this is something that you should consider very seriously, and start looking for it aggressively from the foods that have indicated that they are good sources of this micronutrient. Then iodine, the common sources include the common salt, which is iodized. Of course, we have the seaweed, we have fish, we have dairy, and we have eggs. Also note that too much of iodine can also harm your body. So overtaking some of these, overtaking iodine can be also a source of danger to you. So for most adults, aim to between 425 to 550 micrograms of choline daily and 150 micrograms are some of the common sources of iodine and choline. The myths that we have about the sources and belief, then I automatically get enough choline. The fact is that most diets and eggs are eaten regularly. And as you can tell, there is also the feeling that consider this and they take adequate amount of liver and the eggs to make sure that we get an adequate supply of choline. Then other myths, sea salt is healthier a lot, but the unfortunate things, it lacks iodine salt. Then we risk deficiency of iodine. And this is especially so for persons who have hypertension. They have been aggressively been advised against taking salt. Remember that you need the iodized table salt to maintain your iodine levels. What really matters is how much salt that you are taking. I think taking most of the micro ultra processed food which have added salts, of course, puts you at danger. And then the salt that we add on the table, but when we add adequate amount to make the food taste, then that would be good enough to make it palatable, and also to make sure that we get adequate amounts of iodine. There is the risk of over intake of choline might be linked to some heart problems. So important when you are taking this. Start with your day. 2 eggs, either on alternative days or when you can make it, and this will give you about 300 milligrams of choline. And as I said up there, you can see where your daily intake starts at. Then use iodized salt in moderation. As I've said, overtake of salt can have impact on your blood pressure, but taking adequate amounts and then avoiding the added salts on the and make sure that you get adequate amount of table salt. Then include fish in your diet if possible twice a week when you can. Soy, focus on cruciferous vegetables, and also consider supplementation. For expectant mothers, discuss prenatal choline and iodine supplements with your doctor so that you know what is adequate for you. So in the comment section at this juncture, I would kindly encourage you that you comment the foods that you start adding to your diet this week so that you improve your brain health. It is important that we improve our brain health. So friends, your brain is your greatest asset, and I'm very sure all of agree on this. So choline and the iodine may not trade on social media, but they are the silent architects of memory, focus, and intelligence. So don't let your potential or your children's potential slip away because of this hidden deficiency. Start today and start small with the powerful food choices that will help you and your loved ones have adequate intake of choline and these important micronutrients, iodine. So if you have liked this content, please like the overall health YouTube channel Also share it within your circles, and also subscribe so that you do not miss out on our weekly content on various science-backed topics on your health. Remember, you are the one in charge of your health. Also drop a question in the chat, and I will stay after to answer your questions live on this live presentation. I also invite you, if you have issues with your weight, with diabetes, with hypertension, or obesity, or you have metabolic syndrome, and you would want to give your lifestyle a 360 turn, then I welcome you to join our Health Insight 360 program. This is a personalized coaching program that will help you change your lifestyle and be able to manage lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension by lifestyle change through a doctor-guided coaching program with nutritionists, psychologists, pharmacists, and the laboratory technicians to help you stay ahead of your health. You can also follow me on Twitter and also on Facebook and also on LinkedIn at Dr. Joshua Derito. So thank you very much for joining this live presentation. So in the absence of comments on the live chat, thank you very much for joining this live. We meet in our next live presentation. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. There is a viewer who has asked that it's a long question, but I'll try to break it down. That there are nutritional deficiencies, as I've said, that can make you have brain fog, have poor memory. So some of the nutrients, of course, the goal is adequate nutrition. What does this entail? It is making sure that you are taking amount of carbohydrates, and when you are talking about carbohydrates, is taking whole grain carbohydrates in the general body source of energy, taking adequate amount of proteins, taking adequate amount of the necessary fats, and also taking the necessary amounts of vitamins. And I've said the micronutrients, sometimes we can ignore them, but let's know that they have their role in our bodies. Like these two micronutrients, choline and iodine, when we do not take adequate amount, then we have problems with our general body functioning, and we also have problems with our mental resilience. So it is important that you get adequate nutrition, and they include all the classes of food. Of course, other things that can affect your mental alertness apart from the diet is sleep. It is important that you get adequate sleep. And when we talk about sleep, we are talking about more than 7 hours of sleep each night. And then the other thing that you need to note that when you don't get adequate sleep, then it is very difficult to catch up. These things, so there's no shortcut to getting adequate sleep. We have to try to work ways out where we can balance our sleep so that we get adequate amounts of it. And also the other good brain booster is exercises. Remember all types of exercise. The main ones include aerobic exercises, strength and building exercises, and the flexibility exercises. This would be your go-to when you talk about lifestyle and what you need to look at to stay healthy and to stay focused and to stay sharp with good memory. Thank you for the question that you have asked. Okay, so thank you very much for joining the live. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your engagement. We meet in our next live presentation. Thank you very much.